uh, standard style sheet language. Okay. Now, what is the use of this style sheet language? What is the need of CSS? You can create the layout of the website. That means layout of every web pages, and also you can format the web element easily. You see, okay. Prior to CSS, we format and we create the layout, everything using only HTML attributes, not CSS. When CSS was not there, we, with the help of the HTML attributes, we format the web content and we create the layout. We created the layout of the web pages using only HTML and its HTML attributes. Okay. For example, you want to change the background style, background color, font color, alignment you want to change, you want to give some border, or you want to remove the border of some element, or you want to resize it. All these you did using only HTML attributes. Okay. Now what happened because of that? The result of that, when you develop large websites, it became very expensive process and it took more time also. Why? Because without CSS, only using the HTML attributes, if you try to put the layout of the website and format the website, what will happen? It will increase the coding in considerable amount. You have to retype again and again the coding, the styles or the formatting elements what you want, that you have to add each and every line of the code in HTML. Okay. So when you develop large website, that took so much time and it leads to more this also, unit of cost also. Okay. So it increased the expense. It was an expensive process, and repeatedly you have to add the same thing each and every page of the website. Okay, that is little boring also. Okay, so to solve this problem, CSS was introduced in 1996 by W3C. Okay, that is World Wide Web Consortium. Okay. This organization, this is a team which invented the CSS, which introduced the CSS in 1996. Okay. So now then the designing of the website became very easy. Okay. So quickly you can create even a large website in minimal number of lines of code in manageable. The code became very easily maintainable because of CSS. There are so many advantages of using CSS when you develop a website. You can easily apply same style rules on multiple elements. You know what is elements? Okay, what are elements? Each and every tag called a element. Tag, pair of tags called a element. Okay, so each and every element you no need to rewrite the style definition. Okay, you can write the style definition in one place. You can keep the style definition as common. And then in all the HTML programs, wherever you want, you can call it. Okay. So that is the main advantage of using CSS. So CSS saves a lot of time. It saved a lot of time. And it turned the code of the web development as easily maintainable. Okay, why easily maintainable? Because you are not repeatedly writing the format rules everywhere, every tag. In one place you're writing. So if you want to change, you have to go to that one place and easily you can change. It will be reflected in all the places wherever you called that style definition. So in this way, This is easily maintainable. Okay. The pages also will load very faster if you use CSS. Because every time the switching between HTML and CSS will not happen. Because once you identified all the style definition in one place, so the switching between the HTML and CSS is considerably reduced. Because of that, the loading time of the page also reduced. So quickly the page. So these are, and multiple device compatibility also there. So using any platform, for example, using Linux, you are developing your website. Okay. Your database, everything you are developing using Linux. With the help of HTML, CSS, everything that immediately you can use in other platform also, Windows, Mac OS also you can use. So multiple, the cross compatibility platform also there because of using CSS. Okay, so these are advantages of using CSS. So you have to know why we have to use CSS. So now after we started to use CSS, there are many HTML tags deprecated. That means that that went obsolete. We no need to, we should not actually use those attributes. Maximum of the HTML formatting attributes nowadays we are not using because we have CSS instead of that. So maximum wherever possible we have to use CSS only, okay, in our web development. Okay, we have to reduce the use of formatting attributes of HTML. Okay. Okay. We have three types of CSS. Now, three types means there are three ways you can embed the CSS in HTML. Okay. Students, please listen. There are three different ways you can put the CSS inside the HTML. You can embed the CSS inside the HTML. There are three ways. Based on that, these are called inline styles. Inline style means you will use the style means what? CSS. Okay. So if you use the CSS, that means style attribute, in HTML tag, starting tag, every element has start tag and end tag. Okay. So CSS you can use only within the start tag. Okay. In the tag, in a start tag, if you use CSS, that is called inline CSS or inline styles. I repeat, what is inline styles? Styles, if you use in tag level, HTML tag level, that is called a inline styles. That means inside the start tag, you will add some attributes. So you will add some properties of CSS. Then that become inline CSS. Okay. What is internal CSS or embedded CSS or embedded styles? Document level CSS if you use. That means for a complete document, for one document. One document means one HTML code. Inside one HTML code, if you use common style definition for that entire page, then that is called page level CSS or internal CSS or embedded CSS or embedded styles also. Okay. Students, to easily remember, inline is a tag level CSS, internal or embedded is a embedded styles or page level CSS. Page level CSS. Okay. Or we can say document level CSS. That means one complete page, web page, we will use CSS in one place. Okay. But here what will happen within a single document, in each and every tag we will use what? CSS. This is document level CSS. Internal CSS is document level CSS because the styles are applicable for only in the document, inside the document where it has been written. Okay. What is external CSS? External CSS is a common CSS for all the documents of a single website. Okay. You will write CSS as a separate file. You can write any number of HTML programs, but all the HTML programs which you have written for single website can use this external CSS. So, simply inline styles are tag level or element level CSS. Internal or embedded styles are document level CSS. External styles are website level CSS. So CSS, this is common. This CSS is common for entire websites. All the HTML pages of belonging to single website. Okay. Okay. So now what's something here? It is written style link. Internal or embedded styles, you know, it is page level or document level CSS. How will you write that in the HTML document? Using style element. So there is a special element, tag, which is called style. Okay. So using the style tag, we can write the internal style. Okay. Using the link tag, using which tag? Using link tag, we can embed the external CSS in HTML. Embedded external CSS in HTML. So when I'm saying internal styles or embedded styles, you have to remember style tag. Style tag. Okay. When I say external styles or external CSS, you have to remember link tag. Link tag is used to do so. Okay. Okay. Now we will see example for that. Okay, now this is example for small example for inline CSS. Inline CSS. What is inline CSS? Students, what is inline CSS or inline style?
The style is entered within the tag.
Yes. It's a element level. The scope of the style is only within the element. Only within a element. So that is inline. So where we will write the style? Inside the tag. Okay. Now this is very important. These three are actually where actually we used styles. Okay. What is the code? Doc type HTML, language English, head. Within the head, you want to display the title. So you're closing the head tag. Within the body tag, H1 tag you're using because you want to give heading. Okay. All of you, please listen, pay attention here. Now, this is the style definition I used. This is exactly called a style in this code, the first line. In this line, that means within the H1 element, within H1 element, which I highlighted, which I selected, that is called style exactly. Okay? Style. What about this? This is HTML tag. Sorry, this is HTML attribute. This is HTML attribute. The style attribute where I have written within H1 tag. So, H1 is a HTML tag. Style is a HTML attribute. Equal to is also HTML code because how will you write the value of the attribute? You will write the attribute name and then equal to And then within the double quotation, you will write what? You will write the value of the attribute. But here what I have done, where I have to write the value of the attribute, where I have written the CSS. I have added the CSS code. I have added style. Students, please understand the syntax. Okay, to understand the difference between both the syntax HTML and CSS. I am saying this. What style I have written, that we will see later. Now you have to understand by taking which format you have to write the CSS, inline CSS. So I repeat, this is the tag, HTML tag, in which I want to write inline CSS. Okay. This is HTML attribute. This is HTML, underline HTML. This is not CSS. This is HTML attribute through which I want to write the styles. Now, when I write the attribute in HTML, of course, I have to write the value for the attribute, isn't it? So, I have written equal to till this, it's purely HTML. Even starting from here till this double quotation, it is HTML code. Okay. And followed by the double quotes, what I have written, usually I will write in HTML, the value of the style attribute I have to write, value of the style attribute. But where I have to write the value of the style attribute, I have written styles, inline style. Okay. Now, which I have highlighted, no, that is CSS. That is CSS code. That is not HTML. That is not HTML. That is CSS. Okay. Okay. Now, this is the style. This is the style definition, or this is CSS of which tag or which element, H1 element. Okay. Now, this style definition is only, the scope of this is only for within this H1 tag. Within this H1 tag. So that it is called inline CSS. Inline CSS. Tag level CSS. Element level CSS. Okay. Okay. Now come to the CSS code. Yes. Yes.
The style attribute belongs to HTML or CSS?
What I said.
HTML.
Style is an attribute. Style is an attribute. Style is a HTML attribute. Style is a HTML attribute. With the help of this HTML attribute, we are going to write inline CSS. We are going to write inline CSS. Inline CSS, if you want to write, you have to use style attribute of HTML. Style attribute of HTML you have to use when you want to write inline CSS. Okay. So within the style tag, within the style attribute, I have written CSS. Now what I have highlighted, that is only CSS in that line, CSS code in that line. Rest all are HTML. Key in your ears. Rest all are HTML. Only what I highlighted now, I have selected now, that is CSS in that line. Okay. Rest all code in that line is HTML. Okay. Now come to CSS. How I have written CSS? Now see, this is called, when we write color, okay, usually in HTML, what it is called, we will call that as an attribute, color as an attribute name. But here in CSS, there is nothing called attribute. Instead of that, we have property. We have property. So now here color is a property.
Hello, ma'am.
Property. Yes.
Ma'am, we can use inline style in any type of HTML tag or
Any tag. In
limited.
any tag. Yes, of course. In any tag. Inside any tag, we can use inline CSS. But this property, when we use a property, the property should be the property of this tag. Okay. The property should be the property of this tag. For example, in all the attributes, we can't use in all the HTML tags. Every tag, HTML tag has its own set of attributes. Only those attributes we can use within the respective tag. Okay. For example, SRC is an attribute. Okay. That SRC attribute we can't use in paragraph tag, isn't it? Because SRC is not an attribute of paragraph tag. Like that, this style attribute you can use in all the HTML tags, but when you write the property should be the property of this tag. Okay, that's it. That is what you have to know. Okay, now here color is what? Color is a property in CSS. When you write a property, you have to write the value of the property. Okay, how when we wrote the attribute, we have written value of attribute in HTML. The same way here in CSS, property will have value. Okay, now color is a property here. Red is a value of this property. Okay, but look at the format how we have written. Usually in HTML, property and value, how we will write? Attribute and attribute value, how we will write in HTML? Attribute name equal to, within double quotes we will write value. But here you see property name colon and then the value of the property. Property name, color is a property name. Red is the value of this property. Okay, but see how we have written by putting colon. Okay, so we will not write color equal to red. We will write color colon red in CSS. Okay, okay. Remember exactly it is like attribute in HTML. But the syntax difference is what here when we use HTML, we will write attribute name and then equal to and then we will write the value. Here you have to write property name colon and then value of the property. Okay. Now here in this example, I don't want to write only one property. I want to write another property also. Okay. So what I will do, I will write the semicolon as a delimiter, separation symbol. Okay. And then I will write another attribute, another property, which is font hyphen size. It's a property. Okay. And then colon, the value of the property. 30 pixel is the value of the font size property. Okay. So here in this style definition or style declaration, how many number of properties I have written? 2 properties. What are those? Color and font size. These 2 are properties. What is the value of the color property? Red. What is the value of the font size property? 30 px. Okay. So this is the way you will write the inline CSS. When you write H1 tag, after closing opening tag, you will write what should be the heading text you want to display. So that you have written and then you close the H1 tag. Okay. Now, what will be the output? This is a heading. Okay, now this you will get in your web page, but this text will be in red color and the font size is 30 pixels. Okay, now this style definition is only, the scope of this style is only applicable within the H1 tag, Okay, that's why it is called inline CSS. But mostly you will not use inline CSS, because what is the purpose of using CSS? To reducing the code, But here, if you use inline CSS, of course, inside each and every styles, that is equal to only using HTML. Okay, so using inline CSS while you develop your website, you have to avoid. Okay, you have to avoid using inline CSS in your web development. Okay. Why?
Ma'am,
You should know
your
the
voice
reason.
is lagging, ma'am.
One second. Students, can you hear me now clearly? My voice is audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So using inline CSS is a bad practice. Okay. Why? Our ultimate aim is to reduce the number of lines of code by using CSS. That we can't achieve if you use inline CSS. Okay. So we will see what is internal CSS now. So this is also, let me complete the example. Now again, see, this is another example. We used inline CSS in another element. What is the name of the element? P. P is the name of the element tag. Okay. So within the paragraph tag, style is an attribute. Why we use style? Because only using the style attribute, underline attribute, it's not tag. Okay. Only using style attribute, we can add inline style. Okay. So we added style attribute and equal to, and within the double quotes, I opened the double quote here, I closed that here. Now, inside these double quote, whatever I have written till this semicolon, it is a inline CSS code. Okay. Now what I have written, color green, color colon green, and then semicolon, because I want to add one more property. Then font size is another property. I have given the value for the font size. So this is a paragraph will be formatted by taking this style definition. Okay. And then within the division tag, I added again style attribute. So what does it mean? I want to give the inline style. Color blue, font size 14 pixel is the style definition, which I have written within the div tag, division tag. Okay. If you see the output, I already typed this. This is inline. So inline, what I did, what I explained you, the same code I have written. I just want to show here what is the use of division tag. Okay, that's why this one more line I have added. Okay, What is the use of the division tag? Division tag will create a division tag in your HTML. It will group more than one number of elements in a single division. Okay. So more than one number of element you can put in a one division. What will happen? It will ease the work of formatting. Okay. So whatever style you are applying for with a div tag, all those style definitions are applicable for all the elements which are there within the div tag. Okay. Students, don't confuse. Let me remove this line 1 second. Okay. Now I saved the code. Let me execute it. Inline CSS. Okay. Now this is the output. This is the output of this code. H1 style color red. So this is the heading. This is the heading. This got formatted by taking this style definition. Okay. What is that? Color red, font size 30 pixel. Okay. Now paragraph, this is a paragraph content. Okay. This got aligned by taking this style definition. What is that? 1 second, color equal to paragraph color green, font size 20 pixel. 1 second. This is green color, light green. Okay. Okay, so green and font size is 22 pixel. And a division tag, look at here, division tag. Within the division tag, I have written this is some text content. So that got displayed here. What is the style definition I have given? Color equal to blue, font size equal to 14 pixel. So color blue, size of the font became 14. Okay. Now I close the div tag here. Okay. If I have written a paragraph, like this is a paragraph 2, for example. Okay. So now this, where I have written, please listen, before closing div tag. Before closing the division tag. So between the opening and closing division tag, I have written another tag which is a paragraph tag. Okay. But now what I'm going to do, in this paragraph tag, I'm not going to give any style definition. Let me remove this. Simple paragraph tag. Okay. I save this and I refresh. Now see here, in this paragraph tag, I did not write any style definition, isn't it? I have written styles only within the div tag, but since I have closed the div tag after the p tag, whatever styles I have written within the division tag, that is applicable for all the tags which are there within the opening and closing div tag. Got it? So now this is a paragraph 2 has also taken this style definition, color blue, font size 14. Though I did not write the style within the paragraph tag. Is this clear? Students, should I repeat?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Along with the style, I just explained what is the use of div tag. Division tag will give a division. It will give a group. grouping of elements to the website. Okay. Okay. Suppose if I close this div tag here itself. Okay. Now in this case, will this paragraph will get this style definition, division ka style definition? No, because I close the division tag before the p tag. Okay, let me save the program and I refresh. Now see here, this paragraph did not take the style of div tag because I closed the div tag before this p tag. Okay, this is what you have to understand. Okay, now this is inline CSS. As I said, you should not, you should not use the inline CSS. We can use internal or external CSS instead of that. Then only we can enjoy the complete benefit of using CSS. Okay. Okay, now next come to internal CSS. Internal CSS is a document level CSS. Say it's a document level CSS. So now the scope of the style is within one page, within one document, within one HTML file. Okay, the scope of the style in inline CSS is only within the element, only within the element. The scope of the internal CSS is only within the document where the style has been written. Okay, so it is a document level CSS. Let us see how to write the document level CSS. We saw inline CSS. We are going to see internal CSS or embedded CSS. What is another name for internal CSS? Embedded CSS. We can also call this as a document level CSS. All denote same. Okay, doc type as usual, HTML language, head, title. Students, one thing here you have to remember. When you write the internal CSS, you have to write head tag. You have to write head tag. But at the same time, when you write inline CSS, it is not necessary you have to write head tag. Because inside the head tag, you are not writing the styles. You are writing the styles within the body, within the element. Okay, where in inline CSS. But in internal CSS, what are you doing? You are writing head. Of course, if you want to display title, you will write title. But I did not close the head tag. Observe. I have written style tag within the head tag. And then I have written the style definition. I have closed the style tag and then I am closing the head tag. And then I am closing the head tag. Okay. So that I said, when you want to write internal CSS, you have to write head tag. Okay. But it is not necessary within this head tag, you have to write a title tag. This is optional. Even if you are not writing title tag also, you can write style tag. Okay. One more thing you have to remember, when we use inline CSS, inline, the first one. Okay. When we use inline CSS, we used style attribute. Style attribute. But now here, when we use internal CSS, we are using style tag. Style tag. Remember, when we use inline CSS, we used style as an attribute. It's not a tag, style as an attribute. Within the style attribute, we have written styles, CSS. But here, when you write internal CSS within a style tag, you're writing internal CSS. Okay. Now look at the format of the CSS. When you write internal or external, the third one, external CSS, you have to follow the syntax. This is what? Okay, this is a HTML tag, right? Opening and closing HTML tag. But what is the name of the tag? Style.
Hello,
Style
ma'am.
is the name. Yes, yes.
Ma'am, actually, your lecture is over, ma'am.
Okay. Rama, I thought to complete external. Okay. Have to finish. Okay, continuation of this internal and external, we will see in the next lecture. Okay. Thank you, students. Thank you so much. You all can leave.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Welcome. Welcome.
Ma'am,
Yes, yes.
can you please repeat the practicals part? Like I kind of missed. I couldn't hear you properly. That's why.
You have laptop or desktop, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Then this week we will start the practical. How I executed, the same way you have to execute all the programs, whatever we saw till now in your practical session. Those who are going to use mobile smartphones to execute the HTML, they have to download 2 applications from their Play Store. Okay. One is an editor, any editor, text editor they can download. The another one should be to see the output of the HTML file, that is HTML viewer. These 2 they have to download before the exam, before the practical session. Students, all of you, before the practical session, you must have executed 1 or 2 simple programs and then you have to come for the practicals. Okay. Because on the day of the practical, you should not say, ma'am, I don't know how to use this app, how to execute it.
Ma'am, we
What
can use
extension?
any compiler in PC na,
Yes,
during the
yes.
practical.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, but I am saying before the practicals, you must have executed at least 2-3 programs, HTML programs, whatever I taught. Okay, on the day of the exam, we are not going to troubleshoot the applications. Okay, and I can't explain the steps how to execute each and every application, using each and every application. So that is your part. Google will help you how to use, if you use a smartphone, how to use the application which you are going to use for this practical. Okay, so that you have to practice and then come for the practicals. Okay, on the day of the practical, we are not going to troubleshoot, I'm saying. Okay, because already we have very short time, each and everything we can't. That's what I started to execute the programs on prior hand. Because on the day of the practical, you no need to expect me. You can simultaneously, one after another, not simultaneously, one after another, you can execute and see all the program, whatever I explained. Okay. And if you type and keep the program, that is well and good. You can easily execute and see the output.
Ma'am, till
the
now you have
programs
done.
will be given the day before or on
No,
the day.
already I shared the notes. Okay. In that notes, the program is there. Okay. But for your practical journal, all those programs you are not going to include. Okay. For HTML, 1 or 2 programs only. Okay, but in that 1 or 2 programs, I will try to include everything with the help of the link. Okay, but when you initially when you practice, you have to practice with all the programs. Okay, Students, one thing you have to remember, as I had already shared the file with you, you should not copy and paste the code in the editor. You have to type. Okay. Why I'm saying this? Because when you type, you will get many doubt whether this will come or not. When you copy paste, you will not conscious in each and every line of the code, I'm saying. So during the practical, you have to type the program. But 2-3 programs already, if you type in the notepad, that is okay. But don't copy paste. This I'm saying for your sake. If you copy paste, if you practice just copy pasting and executing the program, then during the exam you can't troubleshoot. That means you can't find out your error. Okay, because that time, first time you will type the program. Okay, when you type the program, each and every line you will mind what you will type, what you're typing. Okay, if you copy paste each and every line, you will not go through. Okay, so you can't find out any error if you copy paste. Okay, so that you should type the program and then execute it. Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, till now you have done only this part now today, CSS wala in practical.
Sorry.
Till now you have done only CSS part 9 practical.
Till now I have done no HTML visa, no HTML, all the basic tags.
Ma'am, all we have to do in practical. What we have to do in practical, ma'am?
That I will I will tell you on the day of the practicals. Okay. But each and everything, if you want to execute and see, and priorly you must have executed. I will tell you, I will give the program, or otherwise I will tell you to combine whatever we saw into one program that you should able to combine. So when you come for the practical, there are two things you must have done priorly. One is at least 2-3 programs you must have executed, and you must got the proper output. Why I'm saying this? Because on the day of the practical session, if you start to type, you may get many doubt how to execute. I forgot what extension I have to put. Okay, and all. So priorly, if you do that, we can save time. Okay. And another one, you just to go through all the programs whichever we saw in the lectures. Okay. Then only if I say you to do some modification, you will be able to do. Okay. So please go through all the programs and you understand why we added this attribute. What the attribute will reflect, the value will reflect in the output. That you have to understand and come. If you understand, then whatever modification, whatever change I will tell you to make, you can easily do. Okay. Okay. Thank you,
Ma'am,
students.
one more thing.
Yes.
Sorry. That about the batches, like you haven't said anything about the batches.
Already other practicals have started, right?
Yes, ma'am. Today CS started. That's why I was asking.
Ma'am is taking batch wise or?
No, she took full
Okay,
class
she took.
today. Like it wasn't informed yet. That's why.
One second, please. Because usually in the timetable, we will put 2 different practicals for whole class. Now this time I will see once. WP practical is on Tuesday. So Tuesday for whole class I can't conduct. Why? Because when batch 2 is having WP practical, batch 1 is having DM practical on the same time. So whole class I can't take on Tuesday. So I have to create a separate team. Okay. So before your practical, I will create a team. Okay, practical WP practical batch 1, WP practical batch 2. Okay. In your timetable, it is mentioned that which batch is having the practical on a day. Okay. For example, Tuesday, if you look at the timetable, Tuesday, WP within the bracket P2 has written. That means batch 2, practical batch 2 will have WP practical on that day. Okay. Next Friday. Now we will do Friday only. This week we will start with Friday. So Friday batch 1 only will have WP practical. At that time batch 2 will have DM practical. Okay. Okay. But
Ma'am, how
DM,
will we know in which batch we are?
that's
Yeah,
what you
ma'am.
have to see the timetable. In the timetable it is mentioned P1, P2.
Ma'am, but
P1.
then the numbers are not specified.
Which roll number to which roll number? No, that I will inform you. After I created a separate team, I will inform you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
But one thing, your CR, Ajil, you are here. Are you here, Ajil? Glory?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Glory, you have to ask DM teacher whether on coming Friday he will start the practical or not. Okay. If suppose he will not start the practical, he is not going to take the practical, then only this Friday I can call the entire class for WP.
Okay,
Okay.
ma'am.
So please let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, students. You all can leave. Anything else you want to ask? Anybody?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.